VINCENZO'S Go Crypto Investing, and this is a nightly update here. And you can see what's going on with the Bitcoin. We got an exciting show scheduled for tomorrow. A lot of stuff happening, right? Commodity Mondays, along with this ever-changing market. But real quick, you can see the price of Bitcoin. And then there's some breaking news we're going to get into tomorrow. Very important. You can see we're sitting at lower support on what's kind of a nice little consolidation that we got going on now, right? On its way down after we sort of broke out of this little rising wedge that we were in. But now we seem to be falling into this consolidation where it seems like 19,885 is our next area as we've breached the 200-day moving average. And that seems to be where this wants to go down, right? If it tries to get some momentum tonight, you can try to trade back up to the top part here, just like we got rejected here a couple times, here, and back there. But we've got support, and now we're fighting to try to hold on to support again. If we fail to hold that support, we're going to come back down to the 19,893 in Bitcoin, or we could take the longer route like this and still get here. I still feel like we're coming down here eventually, even though we could get some big spikes up in there, right? Looks like a little heart monitor, but I think we're coming back down there. And if you're looking at this overnight, if you can't get back above and stay above, like right now we're trying to get on the top side of this again, where we're starting to get a little bit of volume coming in here. If we can hold this lower support that's sitting around 20,619 and slightly descending, and you can stay on the top side of this white line, you can trade back up to the 200-day moving average, or even back up here to 21,000, right? So that's what I'd be watching out for tonight in the Bitcoin, right? If we look at Cardano, you can see we did almost tag that purple underneath support again, like we were talking about earlier today back here, that it could fade out and come back here. And if you came back down here, you could bounce back up into here to 47 cents, because we know this is a descending triangle that we're in. They can break bullish, but oftentimes they break bearish, and you can see that. It's a beautiful little consolidation right there, right? And we've had our low at a horizontal low, and we've had a descending overhead resistance, which coincides with the moving averages there, that has major resistance on them. If it can fire over this and break to the upside, the 61 cents is your upper target, or the 31 to 29.5 cents is your lower target, which would be the top part of the last line of or the top part of the shithouse, actually, right? So that's what we're looking at there. And Cardano, XRP is the same thing. It seems to be we're getting rejected and trading back down. And if we can't get any support in the shorter time frame, you can see we got rejected off the 200-day moving average that we were looking at the other day. It was sitting on top of it, and if it could have held it, you could have made another run back up, but it did not hold it, and it has fallen. It has fallen back below all the moving averages, which leads me to believe you're going to come back and trade into this supply zone, and then if you can't get some support, maybe kick back up, you're going to trade into here for a minute, and then you're going to come back and retap that 28 cents that you hit a couple times back here before you had that nice big pump, right? So that's what we're watching out in XRP. It seems to be bearish right now as the dollar continues to rise, and it actually had a phenomenally strong open to the week as the futures market opened, but we'll see if it doesn't reverse tonight, as sometimes it'll open up strong, and then overnight, Sunday night and the very early Monday morning, it'll reverse and sell off, and then the equity markets and the cryptos will pump a little bit, but we'll see what happens with that over the next 6 to 10 hours as the night progresses, and see if anything changes. Because if we look over here, you can see it's up 0.5%, and it is just soaring to heights not seen since the 80s, right? It's at a 25-year high right now, and that is putting downward pressure on the gold and silver bullion market. And on my Commodity Monday, episode 3, that we're going to get back into, we go into that in this episode for members only. I put a sneak peek out for all of you. Join us at Jabroni Killers to get the members only videos. And tomorrow I'm going to be posting a extensive video on Commodity Mondays for members only, linking perception and how that affects current markets versus what's actually happening, and how perception in the short term can move a market the wrong direction because the perception of what the masses see and think is going on is wrong. And when fact outweighs their perception and they see what's actually taking place, the markets snap back the opposite way. And that all correlates to the US dollar, the bond market, the Fed policy of tightening, and the masses and the herd of people, how they're perceiving what the Fed is doing versus what the Fed's doing, and what's ultimately going to end up happening coming out of that, right? How the Fed's trying to fight inflation, the masses and the perception is the Fed's going to win the fight, when in reality the Fed can't win the fight, the Fed won't win the fight, and the Fed's actually not even attempting to fight. They're just putting on a show with smoke and mirrors, and they're hoping the masses will believe it long enough to stave down and push back what's actually going to happen here, which is an inflationary depression. And then the Fed's going to have to call off the dogs, and they're going to start money printing again. But we're going to get into that tomorrow in another great Commodity Mondays episode. And I'm going to correlate and link that all together with some nice graphs, some nice charts of stuff that's happened in the past, stuff that's happening now, and what I think is going to happen into the mid to long term pattern, or the short to medium term, meaning the next 6 to 12 months. And it's going to be a fascinating episode, right? Peace and love. Peace and love.